The coat is the wrong shape for her. That is the point. She stands before the mirror one final moment, not to hesitate, but to fix the image in memory. Broad lapels, a man's collar high against her neck, trousers that know nothing of her. She has cut her hair. The braid lies on the floor behind her, like a life already discarded. Then she moves. The street receives her as anyone. No glance, no pause. The city does not know it is witnessing an escape. It sees only a figure in a dark coat stepping across a threshold and pulling the door closed without looking back. Louise waits at the corner. The bag between them is light. What they carry is enough. What they leave behind is everything. The night has no opinion about freedom. It simply admits them and closes over the place they were. Above the street, tile and lead, each landing harder than the last. Each gap between buildings a calculation made at speed. Andrea is running, not toward anything, away. Below him, lanterns move through the alleys. Voices rise through stone. The gendarmerie is closing in, and it is not slowing. He does not choose the window. The window is simply where the roof ends. The shutter gives. Impact. Plaster dust drifting through warm lamplight. Two women, a table. Two faces turning toward the sound of splintering wood. Eugénie Danglars and Louise d'Armilly. He is breathing. They are not. Somewhere in the city, men are searching for a fugitive. They do not know how close they are. They do not know who else they have nearly found. The candles in Villefort's study burn without movement. No draft reaches the room. The light falls the same way on everything. A voice crosses the desk, low and urgent. "Save him quietly, monsieur, for the family. No one need know." He does not look up. The pen remains where it was. The room receives the words and does nothing with them. Then a messenger at the door. Benedetto is already taken. The candles still burn straight. The chair bears the same weight. Nothing in the room shifts to accommodate what has happened. Rooms like this never do. The sick room has its own logic. Stillness, low light, a window kept shut against the chill. Then something enters that does not belong. He stands in the doorway for a moment, too still to be a physician, too composed for grief. The air changes before Valentine can name the reason. He reaches her bedside without a sound. What he carries is not comfort. Someone in this household has been poisoning you. 3 others have already died. 3. Not a theory, not a suspicion to be set aside. A number attached to people she knew. People who slept beneath this roof, shared its tables, fell ill, and never recovered. The window remains shut. The light falls unchanged. Valentine lies within it, and cannot unknow what she has been told. The room is dark. The door is still. She does not move. Not the stillness of rest. Something harder. The stillness of a body holding a decision against every nerve that wants to betray it. Her breathing is shallow, measured, made measured. Then a sound in the corridor. Footsteps, unhurried, trying not to be heard. She hears them. They stop outside her door. Valentine does not turn her head. She does not alter the slow draw of her breath. Whatever enters the room will find her exactly as it left her, pale, still, unaware. She performs every second of it. The door opens. The figure does not speak. It crosses the room like someone moving through a place already claimed, unhurried, certain, untouched by doubt. Valentine keeps her breathing slow and even. A sound, soft, glass meeting the table. Then a pour, small, controlled, liquid settling into stillness. The figure straightens, pauses beside the bed. Valentine does not flinch. The door closes. She opens her eyes. She knows that silhouette, the measured economy of those hands, the scent lingering in the air, cold, medicinal, touched with herbs. She has known this woman since childhood, has lived beneath the same roof, has called her, when courtesy demanded it, Madame. The glass waits on the table. She does not drink. The glass remains where it was left. She has not touched it. She will not. Yet she knows every detail of it. The distance from the table's edge, the way the liquid caught the light as it was poured. She has known Héloïse de Villefort since childhood, has shared her table, has called her, when occasion required it, Madame. The room has not changed. The same walls, the same cold air. Nothing within her can receive the truth yet. Not grief, not anger, only stillness. The stillness left behind after something heavy has passed through deep water. And within that stillness, something harder begins to take shape. His voice carries no ceremony. It is Madame de Villefort. She has been poisoning your family, one by one. Edward is the heir she is clearing the way for. Valentine does not answer. The Count opens his hand, a white pastille, small enough to rest at the center of his palm. Take this tonight. What follows will look like death. It will not be death. She studies it, not him. The thing itself, its smallness, and the burden hidden inside it. He is asking her to consent to her own disappearance, to trust a design she will never be allowed to see in full. She takes it. The Count watches her fingers close around it. His expression does not change. She asks for no reassurance. He offers none. In the silence between them, no promise, no explanation, something settles into place. A fragile agreement, a trust carried into the dark. The house settles into darkness. Somewhere above, a clock marks the quarter hour. The sound travels through empty halls. Valentine lies motionless in her bed. Her breathing is so faint it scarcely stirs the air. One hand rests open at her side. The pastille is gone. The Villefort household does not know what it holds. Morning will arrive in its usual way. A maid will climb the stairs, a door will open. What waits beyond that threshold is not an accident. It was placed there by a careful hand in the dark while the house slept. The mechanism has already begun its work. It will not stop. Morning arrives in ordinary light. A maid climbs the stairs and opens the door. The cry that escapes her carries through the house and does not stop. The room fills. Villefort, two servants, the doctor. D'avrigny reaches the bedside without a word. His hands move to the table. A glass, a faint residue at the rim, a small vial drawn from his satchel. The test takes less than a minute. His hands remain steady. His face reveals nothing. He straightens. Brucine, he says. She was poisoned. His eyes shift once toward Madame de Villefort. Not an accusation, only a measured glance, gone in less than a breath. Around him, the household breaks apart. Villefort grips the doorframe. A servant drops to her knees. Madame de Villefort sinks against the wall, one hand pressed to her chest, all color gone from her face. D'avrigny does not look at her again. The weeping rises and fills the room. The grief is real. Valentine lies motionless in her bed. She breathes. The door opens before anyone moves to open it. Maximilian crosses the room in 6 strides. His eyes find the bed. Everything else falls away. He stands there for a breath. Then he turns. His voice does not shake. She was my promised wife, before God and before myself, if no one else in this house knew it. He looks at Villefort, at d'Avrigny, at the servants pressed against the walls. She was not ill. She was not dying. She was murdered. No one speaks. Villefort's hand remains on the doorframe. Madame de Villefort does not move. D'Avrigny lowers his eyes. This is what the room gives him. Nothing. No denial. No grief equal to his. He loved Valentine de Villefort. He was the only one in this house who did. The room empties the way rooms empty after catastrophe. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Villefort speaks quietly to someone near the door. The servants drift away from the walls. D'avrigny gathers his bag without meeting anyone's gaze. Maximilien does not look at the bed again. He leaves. The corridor beyond grows still. The house adjusts itself around the absence. Then the abbé is admitted. A figure in dark cloth carrying nothing visible. The door closes behind him. Seconds pass. The bolt slides home. From inside the room where Valentine de Villefort lies motionless on the bed, her hands folded, candles burning at her head, the abbé remains. The house settles. The bolt holds. Across the city, in a room untouched by grief, the Count pays a visit. He is unhurried. He speaks with the ease of a man who already knows where the conversation will end. A figure that reflects your standing, Baron, not your assets alone. Danglars lifts the pen. He signs. The Count folds the bond, rises, and offers his thanks. The door closes behind him without ceremony. 5 million francs, passed across a desk with a signature. Danglars remains where he is, satisfied, unaware of what has shifted beneath the transaction. The instruments of ruin in the Count's hands rarely announce themselves. They have already departed before the loss is felt. The fire takes paper the way it takes everything, without ceremony. Danglars feeds it steadily. Documents, correspondence, the record of what he has done, and of those who did it with him. This is not panic. Panic has noise. This is quieter work, the careful erasure of a man who has decided that survival requires becoming no one. The seal of his house, a letter in a hand he knows too well, pages from a ledger that once seemed to matter more than anything. He does not stay to watch them burn through. He turns away before the ash settles. A coach is waiting. A passport bears another name. There are cities where a man can cease to be himself if he moves before anyone thinks to stop him. He does not consider what he leaves behind. That question has already been answered. The fire consumes the rest without ceremony. Paris moves through the streets without speaking. The cortege sets its own pace, slow, deliberate, measured by the weight it carries. Its sound is almost nothing. Footsteps, the low creak of wheels on stone, the occasional clearing of a throat quickly suppressed. No one calls out. No one turns away. People stop where they stand and hold still, the way they do when a loss is real yet remains beyond naming. Above the procession, a figure stands at a window. He does not lean forward. He does not grieve in any visible way. He watches the black horses pass, the draped cortege, and the crowd following at a respectful distance, bearing the weight of something they believe they understand. They do not understand. Paris buries its dead with ceremony. Paris does not always know what it buries. The Count watches until the last mourner disappears around the corner. Then the street is only a street. The grave is open. The ground is cold. Maximilien Morel stands at its edge. His back is straight. His hands rest at his sides. The posture of a soldier carrying out a duty he cannot refuse. He holds himself together. For a long moment he holds. Then something gives. Not a cry, not a collapse. The jaw tightens. His hands close on empty air. What escapes him is not sound but control. Composure parts along a hidden seam, and what rises through it is larger than the frame that held it. Across the open ground, a man stands apart from the mourners, still, perfectly still. He does not look away. He does not move toward Maximilien. His hands rest at his sides, as though nothing before him demands action, as though grief beside an open grave were an ordinary thing, and he merely a witness to it. The Count watches. He does not move. This is the cost of the design. He is standing inside it. The door is locked from the inside. The room carries the silence of a decision already made. Gray afternoon light enters through the window. Nothing here has moved toward a future for some time. Maximilien Morel sits upright in his chair. His hands rest open on his knees, palms turned upward, the posture of a man finished with effort. On the table beside him lies a folded letter. Nothing else remains that was not arranged with care. He does not look at the door. He does not look toward anything at all. The room around him is as still as he has chosen it to be. Outside, footsteps draw nearer. He does not move. The door opens. Without ceremony, without hesitation. It opens, and he is there. The Count of Monte Cristo stands in the doorway. His gaze moves across the room. The folded letter, the open hands resting on Maximilian's knees, the careful stillness of a man who has reached the end of a decision. He turns away from none of it. He crosses the room. He does not reach for the letter. He does not speak Valentine's name. He kneels, not in supplication, in recognition. For a long moment, there is nothing between them but the gray afternoon and all that it has taken. Then the Count speaks, like a man setting down a burden carried for 20 years. I am Edmond Dante. The name does not echo. It settles. The benefactor, the savior of his father, the architect of loss and mercy alike. One name, one man. Still kneeling, Maximilian does not move. The Count asks for 1 month, time enough for Edmond Dante to learn what vengeance has made of him and to repair what remains within his power. Will you give me that month? Maximilian looks at him for a long time. He says yes. 2 men in a locked room. One who spent 20 years becoming someone else. One whose grief concealed a living heart. A promise spoken. A name still suspended between them. The afternoon holds them both. The room does not change because a promise has been made. The walls remain where they stood. Gray afternoon light still presses against the glass. A threshold has been crossed. A name has been spoken. A debt now exists between 2 men. What Edmond Dante asks for is neither certainty nor rescue. Not the reversal of what Valentine's death appears to have made true. Only time. The willingness of a grieving man to remain in the world a little longer, while another attempts to answer for what has been done. The word yes carries a different weight when spoken by a man who had already chosen an ending. It is not born from hope. It does not resemble hope. It is permission for time to continue where will has failed. This is what a pact at the edge of grief becomes. No warmth, no vision of what lies ahead. Only 2 men in a locked room, and between them something with weight but no resolution. Duration without direction. The Count carries that burden now. The month has not yet begun. The pact holds.